Good morning 12th class. I hope you all are safe at your home, right? Today we will start a new chapter, the chapter number 5, the plant-water relationship actually. The plant have very complex relationship with the water because the cell is the structural and functional unit in case of every living organism, either it is a plant or it is an animal simply, right? And every cell have a liquid is called the cytoplasm or the protoplasm, which is the composition of water actually. So water have a very important role in our life, in the living organism simply you can say that. So today we will discuss about only the plant water relationship, how the plant and water relate to each other, and what is the effect, what are the factors and what are the importance of water in case of the plant simply, right? There are various physical activities that takes place in case of the plants which occur in the presence of water, or it is for the water simply you can say that. Firstly we will discuss about the diffusion actually. Diffusion is a physical process where there is no energy is required, no ATP is required in that condition simply, because it is simple transfer of molecules of any substance, either it is a solid, it is a liquid or a gas. There is the movement of the particles simply from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So there is no requirement of any external expenditure of the energy. So in case of diffusion there is no ATP requirement is there. Simply the diffusion of solid is less as compared to the liquid and gas, and generally the movement of gases is more with the help of this process is called the diffusion simply, right? For example, I will give you a simple example. If you are in a classroom or in any room, you can spray your perfume at the one corner of your class. Their particles is immediately goes into the entire room. You have a beaker of water and you will put a small crystals of copper sulfate simply. After some time you will observe that the entire water of the beaker become bluish in color, right? Similarly you can perform this experiment with the ink, one or two drop of ink. Also you can take a pure water of beaker and put one or two drop of ink, and you can also the potassium permanganate, it is a pinkish color substance. When you put it you put a potassium permanganate in a beaker, what you will observe actually, after some time there is a pink color is appear, which start from the one end of the beaker and immediately dissolve into the entire water molecule, because these water molecule make a bond with the potassium permanganate or a copper sulfate or a ink ion molecule simply. The molecules are make a bond with each other and it spread all over. It means there is the movement takes place from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Simply there is a one cell is called the A and the another cell is the B. For example, A cell have more solute particles as compared to the B. There are the more solute particles and there is the more solvent particles simply. So movement of solvent is more easy as compared to the solute. Obviously then there is the movement of water or the solvent is from the B to A, because here the solvent molecule is less. So movement of solvent from B to A, but in case of B there is less solute as compared to A. It means movement of solute will be from A to B always. You can say with the explain with a simple example. For example, you have a sugar solution, like you have a sugar solution, it means it is a solute particle, and one beaker have pure water simply. So movement of water will be from B to A and movement of sugar solution will be from the A to B simply. So movement, what is the meaning of diffusion? Diffusion is the movement of particles from the region of higher concentration, where these particles in more in number, from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration, where the particle of these substances are lesser in number. So their movement is easily from the B to A and A to B simply. There is more solvent, it means there is a movement of water from B to A simply, and there is more solute or sugar solution you can say that, so it can be easily moved from A to B. It means it can explain the process is diffusion. In your body, the exchange of gases of CO2 and O2 is also with the help of diffusion. There is the movement of oxygen from external environment to the inner side, and CO2 from the internal tissue to the outside the environment, because we didn't requirement of CO2 for our life processes. We required only O2 for the oxidation of glucose. So exchange of gases is also takes place with the uh, help of diffusion. These are the importance of diffusion actually. How these particles actually diffuse, why they are diffused from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Here in the cell A, there are the solute particle. It means there are more kinetic energy of the solute particle, and here the more kinetic energy of the solvent molecules. And this kinetic energy is actually responsible for the movement of the molecules or the particles. Here the solute particles, when the A cell and B cells are present here, so the solute particle have more kinetic energy in case of A cell, but less kinetic energy of the solvent molecule. Here the kinetic energy of solvent is more as compared to the kinetic energy of the solute. So movement of higher concentration to lower, so movement from A to B and solvent from B to A simply. So it means the kinetic energy of the particles of the molecules is required for the diffusing the substance from higher to lower concentration. There are various factors which actually increase the kinetic energy of any particles. What are the factors? First is the temperature. When we raise the temperature, the movement of molecules become higher because their kinetic energy is increased. So if we will increase the temperature, in that condition the movement of particles will be high as compared to the low temperature, right? So the rate of diffusion will be directly proportional to the temperature. It means when temperature is increased, the movement of the diffusion particle will also increase. Next will be the density. Density is actually inversely proportional to the square root of the density. The diffusion, the rate of diffusion is always inversely proportional in case of the density, because the dense particle cannot easily move from higher to low. So if density is high, then the movement of the diffusing particle will be lesser. So it is inversely proportional to each other. Next is the diffusion pressure gradient. It is also directly proportional for the diffusion rate, because if the pressure of the particles, diffusion is depend on the concentration of the solute or solvent molecule simply, because here the concentration of solute is more, here the concentration of solvent is more. So it is depend on the concentration of the particles, and when the particles concentration is increased, there is a pressure is maintained, which is called the diffusion pressure gradient. It means higher the diffusion pressure gradient, higher will be the movement of the particles. So it is also directly proportional to the diffusion rate simply. If we discuss about the importance, exchange of gases takes place, movement of the particles into the one cell to another in case of plant is also with the help of diffusion, where the energy is not required. Movement of water is also with the help of diffusion process. So these are the process where the external energy, external expenditure is not required, where the diffusion is takes place in case of plants simply, right? Next is about the permeability. What is the permeability? It is the feature of any membrane which allow either solvent or solute, or both, you can say that. The membrane, the cell membrane actually allow both the solute and solvent can easily move outside to inside into the cell membrane, through the cell membrane. So this is called the membrane permeability. Permeability means allow to particles, any particle, either it is a solute or solvent. So cell membrane is generally permeable in nature, because it allow all the solute and solvent particle from outer environment to the inner side of the cell. Some membranes are differentially permeable, or you can say that the selectively permeable. For example, the tonoplast of the vacuole and the plasma membrane is a selectively permeable membrane. Selectively permeable membrane, it means it allow some selected particles can come inside from the outer environment and from inner environment to the outer side environment simply, right? This kind of membrane is called the selectively permeable membrane. This plasma membrane and tonoplast of vacuole is also act as a semi-permeable membrane where solute are not allowed. In some condition only solvent can enter, solute cannot be enter in that condition. This condition is called the semi-permeable membrane. It means where only the solvent can move, not solute, any solute can move in that condition, right? Next is the impermeable. Impermeable is the membrane permeability where there is no any movement of solvent, and solvent no can move in that condition. Some membrane, for example, in case of fungus, the membrane is covered with a protein is called the chitin. The carbohydrate is called the chitin, which act as a impermeable membranes. It means there is no movement of any solute or solvent takes place simply, right? This is called the impermeable. Next, on the basis of permeability, next physical process is the osmosis. Osmosis is also depend on the concentration of the particles, but in case of osmosis we required a membrane is called the selectively permeable membrane. It means which allow the solute molecule can enter more as compared to the solvent is called the osmosis actually. That membrane is called the selectively permeable membrane, and in case of osmosis there is selectively permeable membrane is required. It means it is also a, you can say that the movement of particles from higher concentration to the lower concentration through a selectively permeable membrane. Here the condition is required, membrane should be selectively permeable, otherwise osmosis does not take place. A very simple example is there, experiment we will do in our laboratory. The potato, firstly we will take a potato, middle size potato, we peeled off the potato and make a cavity, right? In this cavity like this is your potato, and peel off this and make a cavity like this, right? Make a sugar solution and put here in the cavity and make a mark with the Allpin or any other object for making a mark. Your solution will be from here. After some time, after 2 or 3 hours, you need to observe what will happen. When you observe it, then what you find that the level of your sugar solution will be decreased down, right? When you observe the solution level, it will be decreased. Why it will be decreased in that condition? Because in this solution solute is more and solute particle is more as compared to the solvent, right? Then what will happen, the movement of in the solution, what is the meaning of solution? The solute plus solvent simply. So movement of water from here to here, right? And movement of solute from movement of water from here to here and solvent from here to here simply. So in that condition there are two conditions are there in osmosis, the endoosmosis and the exoosmosis. I will give you the separate example for both the osmosis. Endoosmosis, when water move here, right, then the level of water will increase. This is the endoosmosis. When solvent or water move here, in that condition the solute will be more remaining here and water enter here. In that condition what will happen, the potato will be shrink in that condition, and this movement is called the exoosmosis from the cavity. Simple, there is one cell A and B, right? In case A, solvent is more and here less, there are more solvent as compared to B. Then movement of water from higher concentration to lower concentration through a selectively permeable membrane. It means water move from here to here. A stage is comes where when the B cell becomes swell up, right, because of the continuously movement of the solvent. But here, because the movement of solvent continuously here, there is the shortage of the solvent molecule will be less in case of A cell, and solute will be more in that condition. When solute will be more, then it will become shrink up. So this will become shrink and this will become swell up. The movement of solvent from A to B, this is called the endoosmosis, right? There are three solutions are there: hypotonic, hypertonic, and isotonic. Hypertonic is the solution where solute is more, hypo where the solvent is more, and iso where the um, both the substances are same. Firstly, we will take an example of hypertonic solution. This is the solution where solute is more and solvent is less. You put your cell in this solution. What will happen? Here the solute is more. It means we require water. So water move from inside to outside is more. So in that condition your cell becomes shrink up. This condition is called exoosmosis because there is the exit of the solvent takes place. So this condition is called exoosmosis and your cell becomes shrink up in that condition, and maybe when you put your cell for long time in the hypertonic solution, it may be can be killed up, right? Endosmosis, there are more solvent than the solute. It means the movement of water from outer side to inside of the cell. Then what will happen? The size of the cell become increased because of the endosmosis, and your cell become swell up simply, right? So this is the endosmosis, exosmosis, and isotonic solution. The movement from inside to outside and outside to inside will be same, so there is no change will be takes place in the size of the cell. Importance: the absorption of the water into the plants from the soil to the root and different plant part is performed by the process of osmosis. So osmosis is a very important process for the plant. It maintains the turgidity of the cell, of opening and closing of the stomata. All these structure occur with the help of osmosis, right? Next is the plasmolysis and deplasmolysis. This is the same. When you put your cell into the hypertonic solution, right? Hypertonic solution means more solute, less solvent, and put a cell, right? So what will happen? There is the movement of water from inside to outside. So in that condition your cell becomes shrink up. This shrinkage, when the shrinkage of the protoplasm of the cell is start, is called the plasmolysis. Plasmolysis means, lysis means breakdown. The cell liquid become breakdown or decrease in size. Cell decrease in size. This condition is called plasmolysis. When this plasmolysed cell you will put into the hypotonic solution, then what will happen? There is more solvent, less solute. Then again the movement of water from higher concentration to the lower concentration, and your cell become regain your position. This process is called the deplasmolysis. There is a very common example about the raisins. Raisins are the grapes actually. When grapes are put into the hypertonic solution, into any sugar solution or salt solution, they become shrink up, and when you immediately put into the hypotonic, it means or a water solution, they become gain their original position. If you not do this, then due to the lack of the protoplasm, because protoplasm is the living part of the cell, so cell become dead, and they are converted into the resins. Same about the pickles. When in the pickle we will put the either sugar solution or salt solution. This is a hypertonic solution which release the entire protoplasm of the cell, and cell become dead and dried. And if you put again into the hypotonic solution or a water solution, it may be regain their position if cell is living. If cell is dead, then it become dry up and converted into, you can say that, the dead cell simply. So this is about the plasmolysis and deplasmolysis, simply the shrinkage of the cell. And when you put your shrink cell into the hypotonic solution, it can also regain their position, right? This is all about some factors. After this diffusion or osmosis, we will discuss in next lecture about some pressures of the related to the diffusion and the osmosis, how these pressure work in the plants.